Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Baltimore County Human Relations Commission Board meeting, September 14th, today at 6 o'clock p.m. We're so glad to see all of the commissioners available and have availed themselves for this meeting. I'm going to turn it over to our chairperson, Commissioner Jason Blavitt, and we'll begin the meeting now.
Right. Thank you, Ms. Brown Carter, and welcome everyone this evening. It's good to see all of you or hear your voices, and again, look forward to us getting back together, engaged in person, which we will continue to reevaluate, and we'll make a determination for starting in 2023. But for the balance of this calendar year, we are going to continue to do it through the WebEx for our meetings. So thank you for being here. I do want to also, just initially in my report comment, I know everyone, there's a lot of activities going on in the community and other events and opportunities for us. And one that I just want to give credit to our interim executive director, Savitra Peoples-Brown, as well as to Ramona Brown Carter, as far as the session we had at Towson University with the human relations presentation to the visitors from Iraq Civil and Human Rights Advocacy Program. But I do want to say it was a very well presented, diverse presentation, not just the commission, but other elements of Baltimore County. And they really reflected very favorably on the county. The way in which, well, the information that was shared, the way it was shared, and obviously it raised some questions from the visitors who obviously wanted to continue the dialogue going forward. So just want to comment that that was really an excellent opportunity for us to showcase the hard work of the staff of Baltimore County, but also what we as commissioners are working for as part of the Baltimore County Human Relations Commission. And Ramona Brown Carter really did gave an excellent presentation of what we do. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know if any of the commissioners that are on this evening wanted to share anything, any updates or any other reports of activity in their districts. So I certainly want to give you the opportunity to do so at this time.
Little inactive in District 1, just dealing with the medical situation up and down, but feeling pretty good today.
Good to hear. All right. I think with that, we'll turn it over to actually the Executive Director, Peoples-Brown, and let, I don't know whether you're going to take over or how you handle it, but I'll turn the floor over to you to give some updates on how things were progressing as far as the commission, our search, and everything else. So the floor is yours.
Good evening, everyone. Hello again. I'm Savitra Peoples-Brown. For those who I did not get an opportunity to meet, I think it was in July. We didn't have a meeting in August. This has been a great first start. First 90 days is quickly approaching. We're making a lot of great traction. As many of you know, I'm currently serving as interim director, and that I'm most humbled to have this role, this opportunity to engage with each of you. However, we are indeed actively searching for a successor for the director of human relations, as well as the chief of diversity, equity, and inclusion, which is a dual role. We have begun initial round of interviewing. We anticipate being able to make a determination as far as who the successor would be, hopefully in the early to mid part of October. Hopefully we can announce that at our October meeting. If not, we will of course communicate with you directly, and then we will definitely set up some time for the new director to engage with each of you possibly before the November meeting. I just wanted to also just share that I believe we'll be virtual for the remaining of the remainder of the year. If you haven't already, you will receive the schedule so that you'll be able to save the date. Typically, the meeting, of course, as you know, those who have been members of the commission for quite some time, is the second second Wednesday of the month. But we just want to make sure that you're aware of when the meetings won't take place and, of course, when they will. I also had just a few updates just to add on to what Commissioner Chairman Blavitt shared about the visit we had from the Iraqi dignitaries. We were, just to be more specific, joined by our library as well as our Office of Community Engagement and our health department. In that communication, Towson University was also present. They were wonderful in hosting us, and they had their diversity, equity, and inclusion officer to also provide information. And so this is really, when we talk about private-public partnerships, we look for opportunities to engage with the community. We were approached by the World Trade Center Institute. And in fact, earlier today, they reached back out to us to ask if we will be interested in participating in another activity. So more to come there. I will turn it over. I'll pause there and I'll turn it over to Ms. Ramona Brown Clark to give her respective updates.
Before you do, just one thing I actually do want to mention for the benefit of the commissioners. I had an opportunity to sit down with our executive director, and we had a good, lengthy discussion. And the purpose was, and I give her credit, to find out where we were, where we've been, to have a better understanding of the commission so that we can be efficient and effective going forward. Because if you don't know your past, it's hard to know your future, or plan your future, I should say. So I wanted to just thank her for doing that. Commissioner Rahman, did you have a question?
Yeah, I just want to know. I missed that. I really did want to go to this, the thing that you had with Iran. I want to know, what did you guys achieve from it? What was the outcome of your meeting with them?
Awesome. So thank you. I'm so sorry so let me just say that we found out in the 25th hour and was able to quickly package everything out. So we apologize for the late notice to you, but please know that there wasn't much runway. There wasn't much advance notice for even us to prepare. But in short, the objective was for them to come and learn about human relations and how we conduct human relations throughout the county. So there's the human relations commission perspective, if you will, how we interface with the community and how you all are respective advocates, from your designated council districts, but then how we as a government also apply the human relations lens to all what we do. As I mentioned, one of the offices we were joined by was the Office of Community Engagement. Many of you hopefully have met, and if you haven't, hopefully she can join us for a future meeting, the Immigration Affairs Specialist, who is remarkable. She really works to engage with the English as a secondary language community to make certain that not only they have access to government services, but that they are well equipped to navigate the different nuances, the different bureaucracies related to the different private public sectors within the county. So the mission was achieved. We definitely, I think one of the greatest takeaways was that for Towson University, they are going to work with potentially work with the Iraqi group, one of the members who was visitors with us, who was a professor herself, to have a public-private international, public-private relationship to get students to come to learn about, how human relations is done in America, in Maryland, in Baltimore County. So there was a multifaceted touch point that came from, I think it was 2 hours that we had with them. It was a
Yes.
lot of information in a short amount of time. We received rave feedback. We're happy to share with you the presentation. We're sharing it with them, as well as the outline of the agenda, so that you'll see what we intended to accomplish, and just what I'll send you also just wanted the thank you. I think that the commission deserves to see the thanks as well, because we are all a reflection of one another. So we'll be sure to send that out. Send it to Ramona, to get it out to you all as well.
Yeah, I really want to see it because it's interesting. Iraqian is they look like anyone else as American. They're fair and tall and all of those. So for them to only reason the discrimination from their part of it, their students, because they wear hijab or hair cover like me, and that's where it would come. So it's not only Iraqian; it's general public. General Muslim
Absolutely.
having discrimination. So that's why I was wondering why this group was the one that's selected to talk about it. I just wondered, and I would have loved to be there. But anyway, next time I should check my email more often and be there. But if you don't mind, I would love to see what this is all about, learn a little bit more about it. I would like to do that. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Absolutely, absolutely. I would just also, just to not really pick on Ramona, but to kind of just highlight her. Her presentation really talked about on conflict resolution and how to just be aware of the different perspectives, if you will, of others, and how it's important to be mindful of that as we engage with one another. Um, Oh, I have a bit of an echo. Okay. But yeah, as I mentioned, I'll definitely share that presentation. We'll get that presentation to everyone because I think it's helpful information that we can each apply, into our own respective roles.
Indeed, it was a pleasure to have had the opportunity to speak with the dignitaries and to get their perspective on their trip. This was actually their first time visiting a college campus on one of their tours, so they were very excited about that. They were also excited. I would say this: we were received well for a panel of female speakers. They were very attentive to what we had to share, and they had wonderful questions to ask us, and the answers were fairly given, even with the uh, data that they wanted to know as far as the student ratio and what is needed in order for a student from Iran to go to Towson State University. So it was just an honor to be contacted and then to be connected with such a great organization. I remember when I first came to the campus, came to the county. I did get a chance in my earlier years to participate in some of their events when they would have certain speakers at the World Trade Center, and it was an absolute wonderful experience. So it is going to be wonderful to reconnect with this organization again. Um, this has been an amazing quarter. I do thoroughly miss our former chief of diversity, equity, and inclusion, and our executive director of the Human Relations Commission, Troy Williams. I do miss him, but Savitra has come in. And she and I have hit the ground running. She has been an excellent leader in leading the path and understanding what the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Office needs, but also on both sides of the enterprise with the MBE and WBE programs, which is the Minority Business and Women in Business programs. But also as far as the Human Relations Commission has come, we have settled, well, we're not settled, but we have been working on cases as far as the need for the Human Relations Commission to enter into some conversations that are needed with constituents and 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 the office. And it has just been wonderful to follow her in her style of leadership. Not only that, we have had an opportunity, and I did get an opportunity to send it to you. But since June, we have had an opportunity to do a county-wide training. This was the first time. Generally, when we offer our trainings from the human relations standpoint, we generally wait for different departments to come to us. And Savitra said, well, why not just offer it countywide, and why not continue this effort if it is received well, which it was. We set the bar at about 300 to expect about 300 guests. And you know that sometimes people register and don't come. Well, everyone who registered did come, and there was some who had people in their offices, which we know often happens with virtually. We were able to train 169 people with our cultural competence and sensitivity training. Not only did we do that, but we also had an LGBTQ training, and in that training, we reached out for 25 guests with the fire department, and with that, we had 12 online, and there were certainly some students who was with one of the chiefs who were interns, and so that took us to about 20 participants with those students in his office listening, and we're hoping that we are able to capture another audience as far as that generation is concerned, and to develop wonderful relationships. Wanted to kind of give you an idea of what we do on a day-to-day basis as far as our trainings are concerned, because I know I talk about the trainings often, but as far as the numbers are concerned, um, it's just like, oh, okay, I had a training. What are you doing? So, since November of last year, we were asked to join the uh, the new employee orientation training. And with that training, we see about 600 people. So from November up until August, we have seen about 600 participants, so that we are able to capture new employees coming in, make them aware of diversity, equity, and inclusion. And that's just the bottom number. So let's just say the bottom number is 50, and they can have as many as 80 people who are registered and coming into that new employee class. As far as our cultural bias awareness training, we began to offer that in the month of April. And since April, we have seen 180 participants for that training class. For our cultural competence and humility training, which is our base training, which we initially started back in 2016. Um, since with that training, we have seen about 210 people. And so we're averaging about 30 people a month. And that is just required trainees for the Health and Human Services Department. I am just grateful for the opportunity to speak to so many different people. I am grateful for every comment that we receive after the trainings, the accolades that I never walked into a virtual setting, because I have not done too many in-person trainings. But I don't walk into a virtual setting thinking that I'm the best trainer in the world, or what I have to say someone wants to listen and hear. But I do hope that I am changing lives and thought processes, and creating safe spaces, and in the process of pushing an inclusive agenda, an equitable agenda, and a place of belonging as far as Baltimore County is concerned. We are looking to increase, as we enter into the fall session, we are looking to increase our visibility in the public spaces. And so we will begin to, for those who are having community outreach programs, we begin to work with them and to see how we can impact those places like we did prior to the start of the pandemic, and just begin to continue to make the Human Relations Commission aware. The other thing that I wanted to touch on is those of you who are participated with the code meetings for us, they will restart in October, and we are looking at October 12th. It is a Tuesday, of course, it is the first Tuesday, the second Tuesday of the month. Sorry about that. It's the second Tuesday of the month at 10 a.m. And those meetings will continue to be virtual. The Hate Crimes Task Force is up and running. It has been staffed. We have started with the various groups, and so we are now working on the development of what the online presence will look like for the Hate Crimes Task Force from the Attorney General's office, and we will continue to support their efforts through that. Now, I have a dual role in that as the chairperson of COVE and as far as representation for Baltimore County. However, my co-chairperson, who is Stephanie Walls from Howard County's off their administration, she will sit in our seat for COVE, and I will sit in the seat for Baltimore County. And we will continue out to work our efforts that way. That is it for me. I am just looking forward to our next endeavors, our next steps, and welcoming in our new diversity, equity, and chief officer, as well as our new executive director. So I am just excited about where we are and where we are headed. And I appreciate each and every one of you. That's it for me.
I was going to open up the any questions from anyone of the commissioners.
Yes,
If I may, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead. I just wanted to add one other thing. So I know Ramona mentioned the hate crime data. I just wanted to provide additional detail about what we're doing to address the some of the trends that we're seeing. So I believe typically there's just a report out that you all receive. There's just a standard template that you receive, but not so much a summary analysis of the aggregate data. That is something that we're proactively working on. To date, there seems to be roughly 71 since January. And when I say to date, meaning between the period of January 1st and August 31st. And so there's a lot of opportunity there to delve deep into what's happening in each of the respective council districts. We don't currently have that data easily accessible, but we do plan to hopefully have that information to you by next month, if not before, but for us to have a more of a robust discussion, because I think there's a lot of opportunity, especially in each of your respective advocate roles, for us to together work to identify effective strategies, identify and apply effective strategies that will help to address some of the trends that we're seeing. So I just wanted to add that there as a, additional information about what we're doing, how we're moving ahead, and to give you a preview on what you can expect.
And that is part of the conversation when is Sweet for People's Round when we spoke was the fact that I know historically there had been different reports, and more recently we've been getting some information again that the Baltimore County Police had been helpful, and we were looking to try to find a way to really not just continue what we were doing, but to really to make better use of the data that's out there, and really get quality use of the data rather than just throwing out some numbers that in a certain district in a certain time an incident occurred and we hear it and then we move on. So to really look at that in a really coherent manner so that we can look at how can we as commission maybe can play some role with the police, with the community to be more efficient and more effective in hopefully changing some of the behavior in Baltimore County. I see Commissioner Bryant. I know Commissioner Jamil wanted to add something as well. Commissioner Jamil, what did you want to have a comment?
yes, I was wondering if the diversity, equity, inclusion officer can be invited to enlighten us about we know what their mission is. We need to know how they operate, and if there is any way to have a direct contact of the public or by us as commissioners.
I think that's what Savitra was saying as far as after the selection process. and
Right.
giving that person an opportunity to meet with you individually.
Right.
Correct.
Um, before we,
Thank
you're
Yes,
welcome.
that's exactly what I was saying. Sorry, the delayed mute button.
Before Commissioner Bryan, before you make your statement, I just wanted to welcome in Gary from the Maryland Commission on Civil Rights. She is the representative for their office to be with us during our meeting time. And Gary, is there anything that you wanted to say? And if I pronounced your name incorrectly, I do apologize. But is there any updates or anything that you would like to bring greetings or anything today?
Hello, and thank you for the welcome. You got my name perfect. Thank you. No, I don't have anything. I'm just grateful to be here and applaud the wonderful work that you're all doing.
Thank you so much for coming.
No problem.
And Commissioner Bryan, I believe you want to add. You're still muted, Commissioner Bryan.
Sorry, I have a report and a question. At the Liberty Road Community Council meetings, we have officers from the Pikesville and Woodlawn precincts come in and relay to us what crimes happened in the precincts. And they hadn't been, but they're starting to provide a breakout of hate crimes. They said they would provide that information to me, but I'm wondering if that's just, if I should forward that to you, if that would be duplicate information.
I'm not sure if it would be duplicate. It may be duplicate information because the information that we're reporting to you should be the same information that they are turning in to the Maryland State Police Department to be put on record as far as data being received from Baltimore County. But if you would like to share it with us, just so that we can make sure that what you're receiving is the same thing that we have, we'll certainly will accept that information from you. Commissioner Lewis, I'm sorry, Commissioner Blevins, I don't know if you saw her hand.
Yes, excuse me. I was going back to the statement about the next ongoing meetings will be in person. Will they be held at the Duncastle Center or will it be someplace else?
At this point, again, for the rest of this calendar year, they will be virtual. When we do meet, there are several possibilities of where we will be meeting. It's not been determined. Also wanting to make sure the possibility is that we can, if we are meeting in person, to also have the technology to be able to convey that remotely. So that's not just the commission, but I think bigger throughout the county, evaluate how best to conduct meetings so that we can be open to the community, to the public, and also have the opportunity to be together. So that's still to be determined. To the best of my knowledge.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions, comments? Yes, Commissioner Bryan.
One more thing. The Maryland Commission on LGBTQ Affairs is just getting up and running. Our first meeting is September the 19th. And I wanted to alert you that I'm going to share with you a survey request from Free State Justice. They are doing a community needs assessment for all LGBTQ citizens in the state of Maryland. That information would give our commission a roadmap as to what we should be tackling first. So I will forward that to each of you for you to share as broadly as you can. The more information we have, the more accurate we think it'll be. So I just wanted to let you know that's what I'll be doing. You can expect an email.
Okay. Well, thank you. And again, for all commissioners and the opportunity, if there is something that you are experiencing or aware of in your district, that is why we cover all of Baltimore County. Because often we are the eyes and ears of what's going on. And I know Commissioner Blount, Commissioners Rahman and Jamil have all in the past sent in information or shared information about what's going on. So I would encourage everyone to continue to do that. Thank you. With that, I will actually say that I have to thank the commissioners. You have been amazing and been the most efficient use of our time and probably the shortest meeting we've had in quite some time. And I usually say brevity is best, but also quality is equally important. But again, I want to thank you all for your time this evening. And also, our next meeting is October 12th. And again, it'll be at 6 o'clock. That's our normal meeting date and time. And until then, if you have any concerns or questions, please forward them to the commission office or to me directly. And if anyone wants to speak directly, I'm happy to do so at any time. So with that, I thank you all again. I guess, Ramona, you can stop the recording.
This this ends our meeting. Please contact our office if you need any additional information at 410-887-5917. You can also be reached by email by bchrc@baltimorecounty.md.gov. Thank you.
I don't think we ever had a short meeting like this ever in my life.